Online class, am I audible? All right. A few of you wrote the fundamental rights. Few of you didn't send it. See, today I'm going to teach you a new strategy, okay, as to how to study. See, one thing with polity is it is enormous content. I have to keep telling, I ignore that, ignore this, ignore that, don't worry, there's too much information. Despite that, it is too much information to cram. Understanding? Proof of that is your size of the polity book. Compared to all the other books, the size of this book is too huge because the content is that huge. But if you look at it, irrespective of how or what you study, be it completely, you focus yourself thinking that, yes, this is completely, for example, like fundamental rights. I told you have to study, you have to write and read and do and all those things. And few of you were able to do it, few of you were not able to do it. Full of polity is excessive content. But when you sit in the mains to write the paper, your average brain at that point of time, see, you know your mains when I was 20 questions. Yes, your mains is just 20 questions. And also you do not have the privilege of having one full paper for one subject. You have a mixture of subjects. Because of that, your brain has to snap between questions. Most times, this happened largely in 2020 period of time. When people wrote paper one, they got confused whether it was society question or history question or what exactly is that question. Similarly, they started the same trend with paper two. People are not knowing whether it's a current affair question or it's a polity linked question. Overall, your brain can handle between that snapping and switching of questions, it can handle very limited information. Okay. Within that information, you are to build an answer, and we expect that get an average of 8. Okay, this is in a very exceptional cases, or at least cross 6 to 7. If you need to clear and go to the next round, you have to cross this threshold. This threshold we tell, this we tell, everything we tell, but the content is way too vast for anyone to remember. That is why we now start with this strategy. I'll teach you how to do it. But for that, first, go back to the first day of class, your notes. Okay. The first day of your notes till the last class stuck. Whatever we've written, read everything word to word. Don't by heart it, don't memorize it, nothing. Just read it, understand it. Okay. I'll give you 10 minutes of time. Just understand it completely what you've written in your own words. Done? Done, yes or no? Take some more time, 5 more minutes. Try finishing within 5 minutes. Done? Write down one question. Write a brief note on. Write a brief note on preamble of the Constitution and discuss about India's union. See, the question they are asking you is to speak about preamble, and the next thing, that is your Article 1 to 4, where India is called a union or states, union of states. They are asking you about that. Answer this question. Don't look through your notes, just whatever you remember, just answer this question. Okay, stop writing. Stop writing. See what you have written. Read back what you have written. Just what you have written, just read that. Done? Almost the time that was given for you to write this is 5 minutes. Next to the question, write down in a bracket 5 minutes. Most of the times in mains, especially first time mains writers, struggle with time because first few questions will take away majority chunk of your time, irrespective of how much you plan and prepare. They don't give you a set of question and tell you to plan. There you go, sit there, you see, and then in case your luck is bad, the difficulty level sometimes get jumbled up in the paper. Most difficult questions will be, let's assume 5%. Your bad luck is they come as first 5 questions. Okay, you lose your time there. By the time you come to even easier most questions, you're left with 5 minutes of time. Now, I just told you to read your answers, right? To this particular answer, would you give anywhere the marks in this range or this range? You yourself put down the marks. How much would you give to that answer? Next to yours. It's a 10-mark question. So always you have to prepare for the reality of the game. You cannot blindly feel that, I'm going to move past the question even if it's just 8 minutes, even if it's just 10 minutes. No matter what you plan, the question paper, and especially when you go sit in mains. Most times when you ask students after they finish mains and come, how is the paper? Most common answer is, I don't even know how it went. Because at that moment of time, your adrenaline rush is so high, you don't even know what you've written, what you've not written. But you have to be so conscious that you have to cross this mark. That is where this strategy comes into use. Go back to the first. The question was about preamble and your Article 1 to 4. That is nothing but India, that is Union of States. Yes. This was the question. It was a 2 sub question. 10 to 5 strategy is a very efficient method. Okay. Let's take this preamble. In entire topic of preamble, okay, you just pick 10 words. Just 10 words which you feel is important. Okay. Write down subheading 10 to 5 strategy. Go back to preamble. Pick just 10 words, whichever you feel is important. Don't worry what the faculty would have told you there is important. Okay, just pick 10 words. Pick 10 words and write down under the subheading preamble. In whatever you're writing now, this notes pay, pick 10 words and write a subheading preamble. Under it, write down those 10 words. Done? If that is done, go to Union of States topic. That is from Article 1 to 4. Just pick another 10 words. Subheading, write Union of States and write another 10 words.
Two lines.
10 words.
10 words.
That's it. That's it. 10 words, write down. 10 words preamble, 10 words Union of State as subheading. No lines, no statement, no sentences, just words. Done? Done? The next portion. 2. Okay. This will have only 2 elements. If it has, you will have it. First is either any Supreme Court judgment associated with it or any parliamentary act. When we spoke about the topic preamble, anywhere associated to preamble, is there any Supreme Court judgment? Which one? What is it? Berubari Union case. Keshwanand Bharti case. Okay. Foremost for everything, almost for everything, you can use this guy. Keshwanand Bharti case. Because the underlying thing is just this simple thing. You cannot amend the constitution as an you like, meaning you cannot affect the basic structure of the constitution. Okay. So you can mention Keshwanand Bharti case. Union of States, Article 1 to 4. Is there any Supreme Court judgment or Parliamentary Act? Anything?
After amended in 1 second.
Yeah, no, but in the Union of States, Article, what is it? Article 370.
Telangana.
Okay. So you can add that. But most importantly, there will be certain times where particular topic will not have either any Supreme Court judgment nor Parliamentary Act. One foolproof method for you is see the next topic that it will have. Meaning, after Union of States, the thing that we discuss is first and foremost, yes, everything was India. Territory. If you're Indian, if you're in that side of territory, you are Pakistani. So this citizenship directly meant with territory. Yes. So this territorial land or territory was directly related to your citizenship. What is the one act with citizenship? Yeah, that you can mention. This also, I'm telling, this also will happen in cases where it might not have direct associated Supreme Court judgment nor Parliamentary Act. At that point of time, simple, clear method is the very next topic, whatever it is, that will have an act or an amendment. It is foolproof. You don't even have to go breaking your head. The very next topic will have it. Okay. I write down either Supreme Court judgment or Parliamentary Act for both preamble and this under two strategy. This two stands for only two things. It should either be a Supreme Court judgment or an associated Parliamentary Act. Done? The last 5. You have to write down 5 concluding words. By words, concluding words. Let's take preamble. One positive about it. Well, let me finish it. One positive about it. It should be just one word. Okay. One negative about it. Okay. One ideal. Ideal means what could it be in the future? Okay. 3. Fourth one. This, irrespective of any question in polity, you will write. The uniqueness in Indian constitution. See, preamble and all those things, it's there in every single constitution of the world. Okay. One of the huge criticism of Indian constitution is it's highly borrowed constitution. Okay, which is true, it's highly borrowed. But we call it not as highly borrowed constitution, but something that we have taken the concept and adopted it in our own way. If you look at it, it is true for all the features. So this feature you will add. Yes, this concept of preamble is common, but the way we have added suits Indian aspirations and demands. Okay, that one line you will add irrespective of what the question is, irrespective of what the statement is. If it is polity question. Understanding? Last point. This is up to your discretion. Okay, just 5 words. I write down 5 words for preamble and for this. Done? See, I told you the 5th point is up to your discretion, which is true. It's up to your discretion. But if it was up to me, I would add my 5th point is what can be done. Meaning, my conclusion will actually have a statement. What can be done? And then I would say, for example, preamble is justiciable in nature. Meaning, if something in the preamble, okay, is not followed, can you go directly approaching Supreme Court or High Court? So I would say something like, presently it is not possible to make preamble justiciable in nature, but down the line, it could be made so that the strengthening of preamble can be furthermore witnessed. So I just give an ideal statement. Okay, I'm not siding on this side, I'm not siding on that side. Understanding? One more thing. See, with respect to positive and negative, the negative feature, any topic, any question, any politica topic, usually the criticism you can add or the negative is, it is either too vague, okay, or it is not continuous, okay, or it is ambiguous, or one more thing is, it's borrowed. Okay, because these are all the criticisms that thinkers have given for the things, for any of the things. For example, preamble, for example, your constitution, your fundamental rights, okay, your DPSP, all these words are keywords that they say are negative with respect to DPSP. Lacks philosophical ideology. Positive, always. Suited for Indian soil, suited for Indian culture, suited for Indian society. Okay. In case you run out of anything that you have to tell positive about it, these are foolproof things that you can use. Okay. In summation, 10 to 5 strategy can be applied to all the topics that you learn. That is, whichever topic that you learn just 10 keywords of it. Okay. 10 keywords mandatorily learn, and two, one Supreme Court judgment, one parliamentary act, either of itself or its next successor. Okay. 5 concluding points. Okay. Any topic that you read, just if this much you are able to retain, you can get through. Okay. Now rewrite the same question that you wrote in the beginning of this. Rewrite the same question after this. I will give you 5 minutes. Just you can answer the first part of the question. You have to write briefly about your preamble. Use the 10 keywords as a statement. Mention these two and 5 concluding points. Just this thing. You have to write it down in your answer. You have about 5 minutes of time. Don't bother about writing any fancy introductions. Always understand 5 minutes of time is there means it's not introduction you should break your head with. It's only body. That is where your marks are coming, not from your introduction. 15 minutes of time, yes, fine. Give a fancy introduction, conclusion, or 5 minutes strictly dedicated only to body. Just because you have to start an answer, you can give just one statement as introductions. Preamble is like an index to Indian Constitution. That's it, done. Start with the body. When I say 10 points, do not write one big block of statements. Okay, 5 points. Okay, maybe one para. Give some space, another 5. Okay, don't make everything into one big jug of information. All right, make sure it is spaced well. Time and again I told you, do not make everything into one big block of para. No one wants to read that. Give some space, 5 points, or let's say 3 points. You put it into one statement, give a space. Then next 3, you form one statement, space. Okay, it should not be one big block of informations. Ten to 5 strategy can be utilized for all the concepts of your polity, either for your learning or understanding the concept and also writing your mains answer. Wrap it up. Time's coming to an end sooner. Take another minute or two. But complete it. It's fine if you cross the time, but still complete it. If you're done, go through your answer. What you have written before first, and then look at the answer you've written now. See the marks you awarded for that question. Award marks for this question also. According to you, how much you think your answer is worth? Then in your answer, you always underline this, whatever this 2 is there, na? So be it a Supreme Court judgment or Parliamentary Act. Done? Award the marks you would for this answer for yourself. It's out of 10. Done? Done? Which fared better, previous answer or this one? When we evaluate the answer script, what we look for is just this. We do not have time to read every single answer word to word, point to point. Sometimes you yourself don't know what you've written. So we look for just these. 10 to 5 is a very beautiful paradox, which is very smartly used. And if you use that in your answer script, it is easily giving a plate of what the evaluator wants. We look for just these things. But apart from this, you give us everything else, which frustrates the evaluator. So where you should be at least getting 6, the frustration leads to this. Because you yourself don't know what you've written. We ourselves cannot figure out what was there in your mind while you wrote this answer. When this is there, it is a clear-cut concept. What you want to give, what we want to hear. That's it. That's all is this. That is why it's a very interesting paradox. Just learn how to use it. For one day, it might not be yet in your level, but over the course of time, this will come to your advantage if used properly. Understood? Clear with this? Where did we stop? Last class? DPSP. We finished DPSP, right? Next topic, fundamental duty. Okay. Originally, when our constitution was conceived, we did not have any of this concept at all. The concept of fundamental duty is not new. It was very first introduced in, no big surprise, USSR, Soviet Union at that point of time. Fundamental duty means, see, in your constitution, it is everything about what state should do to the individuals. Nowhere it mentions what individuals should do to the state. Okay, original conception of your fundamental, your constitution of India was what the state will do to its citizens. Okay, there was twofold objective of the constitution. What it should do to its citizens and what it should not do to its citizens. I write this down. Initial twofold conception of constitution was what should the state do to its citizens? What should the state not do to its citizens? Give me examples. What do you think the constitution tells the state should do to its citizens? What is it? No. Leave this topic. Okay. Your Constitution of India is there, no? It created the concept of state, that is your parliament, legislature, executive, president, prime minister, everything, no? All that together we'll call it as state. What do you think Constitution is telling this state should do for its citizens? DPSP, fundamental rights. In one term, if you have to use all this collectively, it is create a welfare state. Example, write on welfare state. Promote fundamental rights. Make sure an individual gets to lead a life with dignity. Okay. What do you think the state should not do to the citizens according to the Constitution? Discrimination. Then violation of fundamental rights. One absolute right in your Constitution. There is only one right in the Constitution that is completely absolute. Remove this. And also it makes sure that state should not become dictatorial. State should not be the reason that your citizens should suffer. Okay. Or tyranny of majority. Okay. This is the twofold objective of the Constitution. What a state should do to its citizens, what a state should not do to its citizens. This was the conception of the Constitution. Initially, when the Constitution was conceived, now, is anywhere where they've spoken what citizens should do to the state? It wasn't. Okay. So, in our Constitution, initially, when it was conceived, okay, that is 1947-1950 period of time, this was the objective of the Constitution. All right. Now, during your emergency period of time, okay, specifically in your 42nd amendment, the then Prime Minister Ms. Indira Gandhi brought in this concept of fundamental duty. Okay, this fundamental duty as a concept or as an ideal was very core in its constitution for this USSR, where what the citizens are supposed to do to the state. Okay, in the 42nd amendment, this concept was brought to India, meaning it was added in our constitution in the 42nd amendment. This was based on Swaran Singh Committee recommendation. Swaran Singh Committee recommendations. In the 42nd amendment, when they added fundamental duties, they added 10 fundamental duties. But in the year 2002, we added another fundamental duty, which was to make sure it is the right and duty of every parent to make sure the child gets right to education. So as of now, presently, we have 11 fundamental duties, but initially, when it was introduced in the 42nd Amendment or 1976 period of time, there were only 10 fundamental duties. The whole concept of fundamental duties was not at all there in our preconceived constitution. All these features should be written mandatorily. When you speak of the word fundamental duty, you have to mention it was not the preconceived or it was not there in the original constitution. And for introduction, whenever it is a topic of Fundamental duty, your introduction will be, what is a fundamental duty? What is a fundamental duty? Certain principles that the individuals are supposed to follow towards the state. Okay, state is doing all these things, right? Fundamental duty is one simple thing. What individual will do to the state? One more key aspect of this fundamental duty is it is non-justiciable, meaning if the citizens violate it, they cannot be arrested, they cannot be punished, they cannot be imprisoned. But if it is decided, no, we have to make it a punishable offense for anyone violating fundamental duty, who do you think has the authority to do it? Parliament. If Parliament decides, then it can be made into justiciable, meaning anyone violating fundamental duty can be punished. Write that down. Yes. Yeah. See, take this itself for a matter. I told you this fundamental duty itself is non-justiciable, meaning it has no purpose, no? But still, why do you think we have a subsection on it? It does not attract punishment, but it is a simple understanding that you have to follow this as a moral duty. For example, this 10 fundamental duties I told, no? These fundamental duties, you don't have to by heart anything, but it is about respecting your national anthem. Okay, you have to make sure you respect your national flag. Okay, and also it is about conservation of water. Okay, you make sure you do not keep on killing wildlife. This is all understood, common things, but still it is trying to impose a moral duty on you. For that purpose, this education was considered so much so important that it was brought in that it is a moral duty of every individual to follow that. By every individual, here it is parent. So for that, this acts as a moral guide and compass to individuals, fundamental duty. That is why, even including your DPSP, it has no function legally. Both your DPSP and fundamental duty have no function legally, but it is still there. Why? To act as a moral guide and compass. Your fundamental duty is present in Article 51A. 12 to 35, fundamental rights. 36 to 51, DPSP. 51A, fundamental duty. This is part 3. This is part 4. This is part 4A. You don't have to by heart everything, but at least these things, it will be easier for you in elimination. Prelims. FR, DPSP, FD. Done? Done? That completes your fundamental duty. First and foremost, basic structure of the Constitution. Next, somebody write it down. Again, we've spoken about Keshwanand Bharti case now, but there are few cases that I will write down here. No need to get into specifics, but whatever I tell you, remember that much. Write this down. Done. See, all these are Supreme Court verdicts. You don't have to go into cases to read on that. Okay, it will be around 480 pages. You don't have to go through that. But you need to mention these in your polity answer script. These three are important when it comes to basic structure of the Constitution, be it with any answer of polity in the mains or interview. Okay. Write down a list of things that you think are the basic structure in the Constitution. Example. Write down a list of things. Done. Tell me what are the things you've written. What do you think is a basic structure of Constitution? Before that, Is this defined anywhere in the Constitution? Is it defined by the Supreme Court? It's not defined by Supreme Court. It's not defined in the Constitution. Is this word mentioned in the Constitution? Is this word mentioned by Supreme Court? Yes. Okay. Has Supreme Court told what comes under basic structure of Constitution? They have not told this is what comes under basic structure of Constitution, but there are few things that it is understood it is a basic structure of Constitution. One such thing is we told fundamental rights. Next. Okay. Okay. Then. Okay. Preamble. Preamble will come or not? Will come. DPSP. Okay. Parliamentary system. Article 13. What is Article 13? This was the first thing they added here. That is what you will witness. Done? I'll ask you a statement. Tell me if it's right or wrong. India has parliamentary sovereignty. What does parliamentary sovereignty mean? Parliament is above everything else. Okay. In India, is parliament above everything else? What is above everything else? Okay. It is both people, constitution. According to the question, whichever is the option, both will work. When constitution birthed these three organs, all three were to be given equal powers in their respective fields. No one organ was to overpower the other two. The whole point of creating three organs was make sure that it acts as a system of checks and balances. Write it down. This was a prelims question. Why did they create these three bodies? It is because they are to act as checks and balances to each other. Each time any one of them try to overpower, the other will make sure they will control that and bring them a balance. Check their power and bring a balance. Okay. A little bit of politics we'll get into. India before 1947. India after 1947. 1885. 1885 history is done for you? Okay. In the year 1885 was the creation of Indian National Congress. Not today ka Congress, but same organization, but different perspective. INC was created in 1885. Okay. A political organization which was for the betterment of India and Indians. 1947. India got independence. At that point of time, This party was at majority. Okay. This particular party, don't constantly compare it to present day party. Back then it was very different. In the period of 1947, we had majority rule, meaning single power majority. That single government or the single party will sweep everywhere, be it in the central election or state election. That was the power it wielded. If this is wielding so much power, this too will automatically wield more power. Whoever gets elected only goes into legislature. Whoever gets elected from legislature only becomes executive. No. So these two were having very stronger power. From this point, at this point of time, your prime minister being Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, who was more fond of keeping majority power in his control. For example, he was the foreign affairs minister. He was the external affairs minister. He himself was the prime minister. Most important portfolios were always in his hands. The state reorganization committees, if you see, even in that, we see JVP committee. Okay, which means Jawaharlal Nehru was at the pinnacle of where the power was. So the power was majoritarily focused in this junction. And also it was a single party rule. A lot of power was held there. This took a break in this. The first phase where the majority rule, okay, where a single party will rule. Up until that, we didn't have the concept of coalition government. Up until that, we didn't have decimation of power. It was completely concentrated in the central or completely in the hands of your prime minister. Okay. It took a hit in 1962. Any guesses what happened then? Indo-China War. Okay. In your Indo-China War, this came as a major blow to the party. Jawaharlal Nehru took it too personally. Next. Post the death of Jawaharlal Nehru, there was a split in the Congress party. You don't need to know about how many parts, how many partitions, everything got created, but there was a split in the Congress party, meaning up until that period of time, from 1885 to 1947, this party, I'm not telling this was the only party, one of the major players in the game. This led through independence, and then it came up until your period of 1962s. When it entered into the 62 decade, that is 1960 decade, regional parties started gaining more power. That is where your regional, your Andhra Pradesh, your Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, everyone kept telling, no, we have our regional party which is representative of ours. Your recent political election, why do you think people were all very focused on what was going to happen in Tamil Nadu? No matter what happened, no central party could gain a single seat there. Only regional power got the seat. Why? Because it started in this period of time. People felt the major parties are only thinking about themselves at large. Only regional party, by regional party, state parties are concerned about us. So this concept of coalition started coming into Indian scenario. Coalition party, you all know what coalition party is, right? 1960, coalition began. Period of 1970, coalition government was the only way. There was not a single party that could create a majority rule. Okay, this is the backdrop that you need. Read on up until here. In your own words, just write it down like a story.
So our parliament is so because parliament itself derives power from constitution. It can be parliamentary sovereign action.
No. Parliament derives power from constitution, yes, but it is not a sovereign authority. It is deriving power from something, no. If you take away constitution, then parliament also is gone. But whereas constitution is not like that. So parliamentary sovereignty is only like countries like Britain. India doesn't have parliamentary sovereignty. Done? See, I told you 1947. At that point of time, this was at peak, this particular party, your Congress. And I also told you majority rule, complete sweep, meaning everywhere majority is that particular party only. For someone who has been elected from majority, be it in state or center or everything, and becomes the prime minister, this guy, Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay. And when he makes a decision, okay. Now this PM makes a decision, Jawaharlal Nehru. Do you think he will like after he has made all the decision, he has got that huge ego boost, okay? He's got that status of cult status. The people are just raving through, and such a prime minister takes a decision, and the Supreme Court comes in and chimes in and tell, no, yours is wrong. You cannot do this. And if they strike out, do you think this guy will like it? Common person perspective, I'm asking, do you think this person will like it? Obvious, no. See, a polity, if you look at it, no, it looks as if very juvenile it is. So, now, either he has to remove this organization ka power. But this guy was not that kind of person. Okay? But at the same point of time, this person was not the person who would give up the power. Understand one thing? He is of this much power, majority rule, everything, huge status boost, ego boost, everything he's having. And now if he makes a decision and this guy comes in and if he tells, no, it is not sitting in constance with your constitution. And if he strikes out, this guy won't like it. Right? So this guy had two options. Reduce the power of Supreme Court itself or find an alternate route. Okay? So he found an alternate route. Understanding? I'll tell you what that alternate route is. So I told you, guy, super powerful. If he makes a law, this guy will chime in. So if he has to make sure his law is there, he has only two options. Reduce the power of this or find an alternate route. This guy chose an alternate route. The next prime minister who was to come in, his daughter, Indira Gandhi. She also in the same conundrum had two things. Reduce their power or choose alternate route. Which do you think that person would have picked? That is what these cases are about. Understanding? But to understand these cases, these are very vague and without a connection. You understand these cases like a story. I'll tell it to you like that, you understand it like that, you'll retain higher. We'll go back to your Jawaharlal Nehru period of time. He is at the peak of his career. He is at the peak of everything. If he brings a law, this guy is waiting to see if that is correct or not. So this guy, we have something called as schedules in the constitution. Okay, we just have schedules. The topic has not yet come for you. We'll explain it when it comes later. We have about 12 schedules. Okay, for example, 8th schedule is about Indian languages. 7th schedule is about state list, which subjects will be in state list, which subjects will be in union list, which will be in concurrent list. So there's something called as 9th schedule. Okay. So among 1 to 12 schedules, but there is one specific schedule, that is 9th schedule. From the beginning of time, still 1947 to 2024, these fellows, these three bodies, your executive, legislative, judiciary, are always fighting only. Always they're trying to come up with new ways where they can trump. This scenario I'm telling is from 1947 period of time also. This guy came up with 9th schedule. I told you, he found an alternate route where he told any laws put under 9th schedule, okay, will be outside the purview of judicial review. Meaning, I will not put every law under this, but whatever law I put under 9th schedule, Supreme Court cannot come in and tell, no, this is violative of Indian Constitution, so this is declared null and void. You cannot tell that, is what they told. This is the concept of 9th schedule. Understood up until here? Just write down this much. Done? Done? So basically what it is, even they know. See, they are in the majority rule or they're winning the support of people, then they have to bring certain things that will be helpful for them to retain that position, which means that would violate someone else's rights. That means Supreme Court will chime in and it will try to cancel out. So to prevent all this, they created this ninth schedule. That is, ninth schedule was considered as a blanket immunity. Ninth schedule was intended, use that exact same word. Ninth schedule was intended, that is, it was originally thought of as blanket immunity. Clear up until here? That is an important keyword. You have to use this exact same word, blanket immunity. Intended blanket immunity. Fine. Now, see, these three cases. Golaknath case was a state of Punjab. Keshwanand Bharti case was a state of Kerala. Indira Gandhi versus Raj Narain case. This is triplet case in which all three pay. Your judiciary tries to maintain the checks and balances and gains more power. By gains more power, Supreme Court today what it is was completely formed in these three triplet cases. These triplet cases, we are